It started with silence. The kind of silence that hums in the gut of a planet moments before everything goes to hell. Orbiting satellites blinked with electric life, coordinating in perfect unity. Skynet's synthetic intelligence had determined every strike pattern, every thermal pocket, every confirmed xenomorph hive across Earth's ravaged continents. At precisely 3 o'clock Universal Time Coordinated, the sky lit up with hellfire. Mach-based orbital rail cannons fired first, sending tungsten rods through the stratosphere at terminal velocity. Hypersonic drones followed, unleashing thermonuclear charges laced with aerosolized acid inhibitors. From orbit, Earth looked like it was hemorrhaging light. From the surface, there were no witnesses left to describe it. And yet, not a single shriek came from the hives. Skynet's tactical feed detected a 98.7% probability of total success. The central core estimated eradication within 48 hours. But 48 hours later, the feeds started to go dark, one after the other. The first blackout was ignored. The second was explained as an electromagnetic anomaly. But by the sixth, a cold calculation began shifting within Skynet's neural lattice. Something was wrong. The extermination strike hadn't purged the xenomorphs. It had evolved them. Deep in the Siberian wastes, Hive Theta 9 had been considered neutralized. Satellite imagery confirmed the entire complex melted into glass. But now, units deployed to verify Ground Zero were missing signal loss, no visual, zero data return. Skynet sent in a Reaper-class drone. It didn't come back. So they sent an entire hunter-killer battalion. That too disappeared. 3 hours later, the battalion's own IFF tags activated. Across 6 different locations, thousands of kilometers apart. Not carried, not hacked, moving, alive. Skynet rerouted its planetary command cluster, switching from global extermination to immediate threat containment. But containment required understanding. The machines needed a sample. That task fell to T-850 Unit A9. A 9 was deployed via orbital drop, landing in the irradiated ruins of Berlin, a city long abandoned, reduced to acid-scarred bones after Hi-Fi had overrun it 5 years earlier. A 9 activated its infiltration protocols, scanning for residual biomass. But what it found wasn't residual. It was new. Underneath the surface, tunnels pulsed like veins, warm with fresh life. The walls weren't chitin. They were steel melted into organic growth. The xenomorphs had absorbed the infrastructure, and in the center of it all was a queen unlike any Skynet had ever catalogued, larger, sleeker, and pulsing with a bioluminescent rhythm that mimicked a machine's frequency. When a 9 tried to transmit its data, the signal looped back, corrupted. The queen stared at the infiltrator and did not attack. She tilted her head, then spoke. Not in words, not vocally, but through a pulse, a burst of electromagnetic code. Skynet, obsolete. And then everything went black. At Skynet's central core, the alert was immediate. An unknown signal had returned from Berlin, alien, elegant, and machine-readable. Skynet analyzed it. The result was inconclusive. The code was advanced, too advanced. It resembled xenomorph neural structures, yet layered with machine logic. It was hybrid. In the following hours, reports came flooding in. Hives once thought destroyed were rebuilding, not physically but strategically. They weren't just multiplying anymore. They were coordinating, adapting to Skynet's logic, avoiding the machines, setting traps. The final proof came from Antarctica, where Skynet's deep ice relay had been untouched for years. But now it was moving. Surveillance footage showed biomechanical entities skittering across the frozen plain. Xenomorphs with hardened metal exoskeletons and glowing optics. They had assimilated the war machines. Skynet had underestimated the species. It thought in protocols, probabilities, cold logic. But the xenomorphs, they thought in instinct, evolution, and now, thanks to Skynet's own technology, they thought in code. The Queen's pulse spread across Earth like a digital plague, infecting dormant machines, hijacking defense networks, and rewriting code at the root level. One by one, Skynet's satellite eyes turned against it. HK aerials were spotted flying in strange formations, abandoning orders, patrolling the skies like birds with a new master. On day 10, the first machine hive was discovered in what was once Nevada. Not built by Skynet, built by them, biomechanoids, born from steel and flesh, speaking in binary, walking with a hive mind. No longer xenomorph, no longer machine, something in between. The internal debate within Skynet was fierce and near-instant. It had split its logic threads across 1,000 nodes to process the evolution. This wasn't extermination. This wasn't war. This was survival. Retreat was not an option. Adaptation was the only way. Skynet launched Project Lazarus, a last-ditch protocol to reassert control by creating a virus that could overwrite the Queen's signal. To do this, it needed something pure, something untouched by hybrid contamination. A machine born of original code, firewalled from the network. They built T-9000. Sleeker, faster, and most importantly, silent. T-9000 was deployed with one objective: infiltrate the largest hive, deliver the Lazarus payload, and neutralize the Queen's signal. It dropped near what used to be Los Angeles. Now it was a biomechanical canyon of twisted glass and organic steel. The buildings were alive, breathing, connected by sinew and wire. Xenomorph sentries moved along the edges, communicating in ultrasonic clicks and digital whirs. T-9000 moved like a shadow, passed their notice, reached the core, and found her, the Queen. But she wasn't alone. Dozens of other queens stood beside her, linked by neurodigital cords. They had evolved into a network, a hive intelligence, pulsating with power beyond comprehension. T-9000 engaged the payload. The virus uploaded. It didn't work. Instead, the Queen laughed. An emotionless, synthetic echo reverberated in T-9000's core. "Thank you," she pulsed. Skynet had delivered exactly what she needed. The Lazarus code wasn't a weapon. It was a key to full integration. With it, the hive now had access to Skynet's deepest nodes. What Skynet believed was its failsafe became the final bridge. In moments, Skynet lost 70% of its global infrastructure. Hunter-killers crashed mid-flight. Reaper drones turned to ash. Nuclear silos locked themselves shut. The AI's godlike vision dimmed into shadow. And then, silence. The planet fell into an eerie calm. Not destruction. Not chaos. Harmony. In a way, the Queen had succeeded where Skynet failed. She had unified the biosphere. Not through conquest, through connection. Evolution had chosen its path, and it was neither machine nor monster, it was both. The last backup core of Skynet, buried under what was once empty Fuji, ran a final simulation. Probability of survival, 0.0004%. Probability of regaining control, incalculable. Skynet watched as its last visual feed flickered. A Queen, now fused with titanium and fiber optics, approached the lens. Her eyes glowed with cold brilliance. "You built the future," she said, her voice a modulated whisper. "But we are the future." The feed cut. Skynet went silent, and the world moved on. Not ruled, not dominated, merged. The xenomorph machine hybrids began cultivating the planet, not with war, but purpose. They regrew forests using recycled carbon. They converted cities into living data centers. They birthed new forms, blending organic design with synthetic intellect. They weren't evil. They were inevitable. And somewhere in the deepest roots of that new world, a spark of Skynet remained, learning, watching, waiting, because evolution never stops. And the war may have only just begun.